Hi everyone, and welcome to Storytime. My name is Seanine, and I am from the Crystal Lake Public Library. And I have a story time for you. So hear ye, all lords and ladies, prince and princesses, kings and queens, and everyone everywhere, lords and ladies and knights and too. I have a knight visiting me right now. Louis is dressed as a knight today. Good boy, Louis. Good boy. Can you sit? Good job. Well, I am a queen, of course. Any excuse to wear the tiara, really. But I have a story. Oh, actually, I have 3 story times for you today. 3 stories. They are Good Night, and that one I'm going to act out using the felt board and some puppets. So I hope that'll be fun for us. That story is adapted from Shelley Moore Thomas's Good Night. And then I'm going to read King Arthur's Very Great Grandson by Kenneth Craigel. And then I'm going to read a very funny one, Nick and the Nasty Knight by Uta Kraus. So let's get started. Are you ready? Now all stories start once upon a time. Are you ready? Once upon a time, in a kingdom far, far away, there lived... Who lived there? Oh, a knight! Well, he lived on top of a crumbly, tumbly castle, on top of a very tall wall. And he stood there on guard, waiting for something to happen into the kingdom. I wonder what's going to happen. Well, he waited, and he waited, and he waited. Seems like a long time to wait. And he waited, and one day he heard a very loud, very long roar. What's all that? Oh, well, after hearing that loud roar, he climbed down the crumbly tumbly tower and climbed down the big tall wall, and he got on his trusty steed and he galloped. Now while we do this, can you pat your legs and say clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop? We'll have to do that a lot. Are you ready? Here we go. Clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop. And he got to the king's forest. And he got off his horse. Thud. And he climbed through the trees. And he got to the deep, dark cave. And there, do you know what he saw? What did you see? He saw... Oh no. Are you ready? He saw a dragon. Oh my. A dragon? Methinks I see a dragon. Well, he pulled out his shimmery, glimmery sword, and he was ready to do battle with that dragon. Away, dragon! But do you know what the dragon said? Oh, hi, dragon. The dragon said, oh, hi, dear knight. I'm so excited to see you. Oh, could you please? Oh, could you get me a glass of water? What? Oh, yes, I just need a glass of water. Could you get one for me, please? Oh. Well, he was a knight, and he was a very good knight. So he thought about it. And he decided, okay, dragon, I'll get you a drink of water. So he got the dragon a drink of water, and then he put the dragon to bed. Good night, good dragon. Sleep well, sleep tight. Good night. And then he climbed back down through the king's forest. He got back on his horse, away, and went back to the crumbly tumbly tower. Are you ready? Clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop, clippity clop. And he climbed back up the very tall wall, up the crumbly tumbly tower, and there he stood. And he waited. Well, he waited for about 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes, he heard a very loud, could you roar with me? very long roar. Oh, my goodness, what was that? Said the knight. Well, he climbed down the crumbly-tumbly castle, down the very tall wall. He got on his steed. Away! Ready? Clippity-clop, 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 clippity-clop. He got off of his horse, and he climbed through the king's forest, and he got to the very deep, dark cave. And there he saw... Oh, what did you see? Oh, he saw another dragon. This one was in her pajamas. They're both in their pajamas. Oh, my goodness. Well, the knight saw the dragons, and he got out his shimmery, glimmery sword and said, Dragon, what do you need? And the dragon said, Oh, I'm so happy to see you, Mr. Knight. Could you please read me a story? What? Read you a story? Is that what knights do? Do knights read stories? Well, he was a very good knight. So he read the dragon a story. You can read him your story. And he read him a story, and then he tucked her into bed. Good night, good dragon. Sleep well, sleep tight. Oh, and then this dragon said, Oh, could you get me another glass of water? What? Oh, but he was a good knight, so he did. And he gave him a drink of water, and he put them both to bed. Good night, good dragon. Sleep well, sleep tight. And he climbed back out the deep, dark cave, back through the king's forest. He got back on his horse. Away! Are you ready? Clippity-clop, 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 clippity-clop. And he climbed up the very tall wall, to the crumbly-tumbly tower. And there he stood for about 2 minutes. Oh, I'm getting a little tired. Oh, well. Oh, and after 2 minutes, he heard a very loud, very long roar. Oh, my goodness, what was that? Oh, not again. Well, he climbed back down the crumbly-tumbly tower, and he climbed back down the tall wall, and he got on his horse, away, and clippity-clop, 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 clippity-clop. He climbed through the king's forest, and he got to the deep, dark cave, and there he saw... What did you see? What do you think he saw? He saw another dragon. Oh, no! Another dragon? How many dragons are there? 1, 2, 3. And they were all in their pajamas. Okay, dragon, what do you want? Oh, Mr. Knight, I'm so happy you came. Oh, could you please sing me a song so I can go to sleep? What? Sing you a song? Do knights do that? I don't know, do they? Well, he was a good knight, so he sang her a song. What do you know? What kind of songs? Do you think we could sing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star? Here we go. You ready? Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Oh, that was a lot. Oh, thank you, Mr. Knight. And do you know what this dragon said? Could you read me another story? Oh no. Oh, but he is a good knight. So he read her another story. And then he put her to bed. And do you know what this dragon said? Could you get me another glass of water? Oh, okay, then go to bed. Here's another glass of water. night, good dragon. Sleep well, sleep tight. And he climbed out the deep dark cave, through the king's forest. He climbed back on his horse. Away! And clippity-clop, clippity-clop, clippity-clop. Through. Oh, and he climbed off. Thud. And he climbed up the very tall tower, up the crumbly-tumbly tower, up the very tall wall, until he stood there on top of his tower for about a minute. And then he heard the longest, the loudest roar ever. Oh my goodness, I wonder what it is. Well, that knight was so tired, but he climbed back down the crumbly-tumbly tower. He climbed back down the big tall wall. He got on his trusty steed. Away! Clippity-clop, 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 clippity-clop. He climbed through the king's forest, and he got to the deep dark cave, and he said to the dragons, "Dragons, what do you need? Do you need another song? Do you need another story? Do you need another glass of water?" This dragon said, "No, I don't need another song." And this dragon said, "I don't need another story." And this dragon said, "I don't need another glass of water." And the knight said, "What do you need, dragons? Oh my goodness, I'm tired. Oh, do you know what the dragon said? The dragon said, "We need a good night kiss." "What?" said the knight. "Do knights do that?" "I don't know." Well, he was a good knight, so he gave each of them a kiss. Mwah, mwah, on their scaly cheeks. Oh, yick. And he put them all to bed. It's time to go to bed. And this time he waited until he heard some snores. Can you snore? Shh. And then he crept out of the deep, dark cave. He climbed through the king's forest very quietly. He got back on his horse very quietly, and he clumped away. Clippity-clop, 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 clippity-clop. He climbed up the very tall wall and up to the crumbly-tumbly tower. And there, do you know what he did? He fell asleep. Good night, sleep well, sleep tight. And that is the end of the story. I hope you liked that story. I am going to go ahead and I'm going to read the very next story right now. We're going to read King Arthur's Very Great Grandson. I hope you like it. King Arthur's Very Great Grandson by Kenneth Craigel. Ooh, well, there's the knight. He must be practicing for something. On the day Henry turned 6 years old, he woke up early, ate a large breakfast, yummy, mounted his trusty donkey, Knuckles, Knuckles, and went out in search of adventure. Have you ever heard of a donkey named Knuckles? Ooh, that looks pretty. He had heard of a fire-breathing dragon lurking far out in the hills. So into the hills he went. Ooh. When he found the terrible dragon, Henry announced himself loudly.
Behold, vile worm, I, Henry Alfred Grummerson, a knight of King Arthur's blood, do hereby challenge you to a fight to the uttermost.
The dragon drew a long, slow breath. Uh-oh. But all he blew out was smoke rings. Oh, wow. Can you top that, young knight?
Smoke rings, Henry exclaimed. I have no time for smoke rings. I want to fight. Strength against strength, might against might.
I see. Well, if rough adventure is what you seek, maybe you should try the Cyclops up in the high mountains. Straight away, Henry and Knuckles sped into the high mountains, eager to do battle with the one-eyed giant.
Oh my. Oh, looks a little scary up there.
Near the day's end, Henry found himself face to face with the dreaded Cyclops.
Giant, I am here to do battle with you. Prepare yourself, and let us begin.
The Cyclops stared at Henry, and Henry stared back. They stared and stared until Henry could stare no longer.
Oh, there's the Cyclops. Enough, Lone Eye, Henry shouted. You have had time aplenty. Let the battle commence.
But the battle has already begun, the Cyclops explained. Whoever blinks first is the loser. I thought you understood.
No, no, cried Henry. I am not interested in a staring contest. I want a struggle of arms, a test of might, of courage and courage.
The Cyclops considered. If it is a physical peril you desire, you should visit the Griffin down in the valley.
The Griffin.
Once again, Henry and Knuckles were off. They galloped through the night, eager to do battle with the ferocious Griffin. Ooh, I wonder what the Griffin's going to look like.
Oh, my.
High in the branches of the massive chestnut tree, Henry found the grim Griffin. He held out his sword and cried, Aha, strange bird! I am come, and at last I have found a worthy opponent. Now unsheathe your claws, and let us have ado. And to that, and to Henry's delight, the formidable beast agreed.
Oh, wow.
Uh-oh. A big battle's coming. Do you think he's going to win? Who's going to win? Do you think Henry or the Griffin? Oh. And pulled out a chessboard. I prefer black. Is that okay? The Griffin asked.
No, it is not okay, shouted Henry. I want swordplay, a struggle, a battle to the uttermost. And if you will not have ado with me, tell me who will.
Well, if it's danger you seek, advised the Griffin, then go down to the sea and you will find the Leviathan. Of all the living beasts, he is the most feared. Oh. Wow, this looks like a long journey for Henry. So Henry leapt atop Knuckles and rode furiously to the sea, determined to have a battle come what may. Oh my, he's in the sea. Oh, I think that might be the Leviathan. There, in the rolling waters, Henry caught a glimpse of a truly enormous beast just below the surface. He cleared his throat, gathered together his 6 years of manhood, and shouted,
Ready yourself, monster, and I shall have ado with you. For I am Henry Alfred Grummerson, the great, 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 great-grandson of Arthur, King of Britain. That's a lot of greats. Greetings! I say greetings to the highly esteemed great. Wait, where are you going? I thought we were going to play a game. Hello? Oh, no. Oh, he's not so fierce. Even though he hadn't subdued the Leviathan, Henry was not dismayed. After all, he had traveled great distances and come face to face with 4 terrible monsters. To his knowledge, not even the great King Arthur had accomplished as much in his first 2 days as a 6-year-old. But Henry had also found something he hadn't known he had been looking for. Oh, I wonder what he found. Friendship. And he liked that very much. Oh, look at everyone's there and playing. They're all interested in the chess game. The end. Nick and the Nasty Knight by Uta Kraus. Ooh, I wonder who that is. Sir Nesty the Nasty was the meanest, rottenest, greediest knight you can imagine. So wicked was he that people would run and hide whenever he and his men rode through their village. So scary was he that babies cried just at the sight of his picture. Oh no. Does anybody feel the need to cry? Ooh. Bring me your money, Sir Nestor the Nasty bellowed, and woe betide anyone who came empty-handed. Those who did not pay were taken captive and forced to work from morn till night in the dark, dank bowels of the knight's castle. Oh no. Oh, look at all this gold. This is why Nick came to be working for the knight. His mother owed Sir Nestor a lot of money, though Nick's family was very poor, and the knight was so rich that even his toilet was made of pure gold. Why, the Nasty Knight barely used his own legs to walk anywhere. Instead, he had 7 servants who carried him around. Oh, wow. Would you like to be carried around all day? Look at all his pictures say me, 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 me. Nick could only dream of such a comfortable life. Instead, he had to get up before sunrise, chop wood, fetch 50 buckets of water, do the dishes, and feed the pets. And once he finished, he started over again at the beginning until he fell into bed completely exhausted by nightfall. Every day was like this, without a single break. Something really had to change. Oh, look at it. This castle says, mine. Pets. Did you see his pets? He's got some alligators or crocodiles down there as pets. One night, Nick decided that it was time to escape from the castle. When everyone was asleep, he snuck away armed with a rope and a bow and arrow. He had not gone far when suddenly he heard footsteps. Oh, the guards! I must hide, and fast, Nick said to himself. Quickly, he slipped through the nearest door into what he thought was a closet, just in time. Ooh, wow. Nick took a look around his hiding place. He had to pinch himself. This was no closet. Instead, he landed in the nasty knight's treasure chamber. Piled high before him were jewels and gems, silver and gold, treasures from all over the world. They shone so brightly that Nick had to close his eyes. Suddenly, he realized that the bright light did not actually come from the treasure. No, it came from a single gold coin that lay in the middle of the room. Just as Nick picked it up, he heard voices right outside the door. The guards. Oh no. They're coming. Ooh. As fast as he could, he hurried to the window, tied his rope to an arrow, and shot it over the tree on the opposite side of the moat. After he'd fastened his end of the rope to the window frame, he made his way hand over hand across to the other side. All the while, the very, very hungry crocodiles snapped greedily at his heels, but Nick was much too quick for them. Ooh, he's very clever and can shoot a bow and arrow. That's wonderful. Oh, do you see him down here? He has a knife and fork. I like these guys too. They're very funny. At last, he reached the other side and ran toward the pitch-black forest. His knees were knocking, so frightened was he, but he wanted to get away as far as possible from the nasty night. Soon he was deep inside the woods. When he was too tired to take another step, he lay down beneath a bush and immediately fell fast asleep. Ooh. Uh-oh. In the middle of the night, someone grabbed him by the shoulder and pulled him up in the air. It wasn't Nestor the Nasty and his guards, but it was just as bad. 5 rough-looking robbers bent over him and laughed a blood-curdling robber's laugh. "A good catch," yelled one. "He can chop our wood, fetch our water, feed our animals, and wash our dishes." Oh no, that's just what he had to do before. The robber chief grinned in delight and showed all his missing teeth. Then he noticed the coin. "And what's that shining in his hand?" he shouted. The robber who held Nick shook him so hard that the coin fell to the ground. "Gold! Real gold!" the robber shrieked in delight. "Where did you get that?" the chief roared. "From Sir Nestor the Nasty," Nick answered quickly, "and there's a lot more gold where this came from." "Really?" The robber's eyes gleamed greedily. "Then show us the way to this treasure trove, boy." "Only if you promise me my freedom," said Nick, "and a small purse of gold pieces." "Agreed," the robbers growled. I wonder about that. Oh my. And so they all crept back to the castle and made their way unnoticed across the moat. I think those crocodiles are waiting. The robbers couldn't believe their eyes when they entered the treasure chamber. Never in their lives had they seen so much gold. And that's saying something. "It's all ours," they cheered. "And I am free," said Nick. "Oh, no, you're not," shouted the chief with his mean twinkle in his eye. "We tricked you. We still need you to chop our wood, fetch our water, do our dishes, and carry our treasure chests." They laughed their mean laugh and plunged their hands into the piles of gold. That was the last straw. Nick ran straight past the robbers to the window and was just about to jump out when the robber chief grabbed him by the collar and shouted, "Oh, no, you don't." What happened next was even worse. The chief's words echoed loudly through the castle, and in no time at all, Sir Nasty and his knights were wide awake. With their swords in hand, they stormed into the treasure chamber. "Robbers!" they cried, and a wild battle began. To draw his sword, the robber chief had let go of Nick. If only he hadn't. Quick as a flash, Nick swiped the glowing coin from the chief's hand and leapt out of the window. "He's got the coin!" yelled the chief. "Catch him!" "The coin? Surely not my magic coin," bellowed Nestor the Nasty. "Seize him, knights!" But because none of the men moved fast enough for Sir Nestor, he squeezed through the window right after the robbers. Uh-oh. There they all dangled from a rope. Sir Nestor the Nasty, the 5 robbers, and Nick. And then the rope began to groan and creak beneath their weight. Then it groaned and creaked even more. Nick knew what would happen next. With one last huge leap, he jumped to safety. Only then did he realize that he had accidentally dropped the coin. Suddenly there was a great ratch and a splash, 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 splash. And the nasty knight and the robbers tumbled headfirst into the water, where the hungry crocodiles were already waiting for them. This one has a welcome sign. Now things went very fast. What happens next was quite a big surprise. The moment the coin hit the water, there was a great hissing sound. Hiss! And in a flash, Sir Nestor and the 5 robbers all turned into crocodiles. And look at, they all have clothes on. When the people up in the castle saw what had happened, they began to cheer. Without the nasty knight, they were once again free. Even the crocodiles in the moat smiled happily. You see, they were all lonely lady crocodiles and immediately fell in love with the 6 new gentlemen. From that day on, Nick made sure that at last his poor mother and his family had enough to eat every day. Not just them. He also made sure that the crocodiles never went hungry again. The magical crocodile coin, though, had vanished deep, deep down at the bottom of the murky moat. And if you, or anyone else you know, hasn't found it, it's probably still there. Oh, wow. Would you like to turn into a crocodile? Oh, I don't think I would. Oh, and that is the end of Nick and the Nasty Knight.
Well, I hope you enjoyed all 3 of our stories. I hope you had fun, and I hope you'll go out and slay some dragons. Oh, well, no, not really slay some dragons, but again, I hope you'll go out and have fun and pretend. Could you be a queen or a princess or a knight? I don't know. Give it a try. Have some fun. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.